Hey everybody. In my efforts to better understand the reproductive cycle of the Demogorgon, I may have inadvertently proven that it is not actually breeding these slugs at all, but is perhaps slave to the whims of an even more powerful slug-breeding creature. Now I will discuss point by point how I came to this conclusion. Now at this point, in the scene where Eleven meets the Demogorgon in the void, I think most people would agree that it looks like it's eating the egg. And it is. You can even see blood in its mouth after it turns to face 11. But if this is true, that means that either the egg is not a Demogorgon egg, and she is simply feeding on another creature's egg, or she had grown so hungry that she was eating her own offspring. I'd say it's pretty clear that there is an alien xenomorph-like birth cycle occurring here, and it goes egg, snake, slug, with the snakes taking the place of the alien facehugger. Now, some snakes lay eggs and others bear their young alive. It depends on the species. So it's pretty safe to say that this snake-like creature on Will's face hatched from an egg, and the only egg nearby was the same type the Demogorgon was eating from. But what if that egg isn't a Demogorgon egg? Just compare the size of the egg to the Demogorgon. Do you really think she laid that thing? I mean, maybe it kept growing after she laid it, but man, if not, that is a hell of a thing to accomplish. The egg is about the size of the xenomorph eggs in Alien, and just look how big the alien queen had to be to lay an egg so big. It really seems like it's not her egg. It sort of seems like she just stole that egg from a larger nest and brought it where Hopper found it so she could feed on it. Now, if this is not a Demogorgon egg, that would mean that there's another monster living in the Upside Down. But it was clearly the Demogorgon that kidnapped Will after it collapsed Fort Byers. If you listen closely to the sound of the creature outside Will's fort, and compare that to the sound of the Demogorgon passing Nancy as she hides behind the tree, they are the exact same sound. But why would the Demogorgon keep Will alive and then bring him to the library to incubate another creature's slugs? Unless, of course, this other creature held dominion over the Demogorgon, forcing her to act against her own will. I believe that an even larger, more immobile creature is compelling the Demogorgon to bring warm bodies to this room to act as hosts for a slug offspring. I believe that this creature is the Thessal Hydra. Now, in the game Dungeons & Dragons, or D&D, the reproductive cycle of a Hydra involves infecting hosts with larvae. Sounds like what occurred to Will, wouldn't you say? A Thessal Hydra, more specifically, is a hybrid creature, frequently depicted with numerous snake heads on a different animal's body. Its spawn actually takes on features of the host organism, causing the final product to be a hybrid mix of the two. So if these are Thessal Hydra slugs, whatever creature is growing in the sewer below Will's house is likely half Hydra and half Will. What's funny about that snake is that if you watch Netflix with the subtitles on, at the moment Hopper throws the snake to the ground, the subtitles call the snake a Tendril. It says Tendril hissing, giving animal-like attributes to a plant description. Now, a tendril is a slender, thread-like appendage of a climbing plant, often growing in a spiral form that stretches out and twines around any suitable support. Now, this sounds like a vine, as if the entire thing Will is trapped in is a giant plant organism with tentacle-like appendages wrapped around him, and one tentacle found its way into his mouth where it laid an actual living creature inside of him. But this can't be a vine, can it? They were clearly trying to pay homage to Alien, which means that the facehugger must have come from the egg. But this facehugger scene has one key difference from those depicted in the Alien movies. There is no egg in this room. Hopper did not find the empty egg in the same place he found Will. He found it earlier, in the woods. He found Will in the library. If these are snakes, how did they get all the way to the library from the egg? Did the Demogorgon bring them? The sounds of the creature struggling as Hopper pulls it from Will's throat really imply that this creature is a snake-like animal. But we never actually see both ends of it. This could really be a vine coming out of the ground, which would mean that the egg is completely unrelated to these slugs. When Hopper shoots this tendril, it never moves from the bottom of the screen. Even while being shot, the bottom section remains firmly planted in place. So it appears as though this entire hive-like room where Will has been placed is actually a self-sustaining, slug-breeding plant creature, which means that we may not have actually seen the contents of that egg. Which, makes sense because we did see the Demogorgon eating it.
But it doesn't make any sense.
It makes sense.
Oh, no. What about the lost knight?
And the proud princess? And those weird flowers in the cave?
It seems likely to me that those weird flowers in the cave was reference to this room and the plant creatures inside of it. Not the Demogorgon, not the Demogorgon's head. I mean, just examine that statement. Those weird flowers in the cave. I mean, cave is clearly reference to this hive. There's nothing else in the entire show that is as cave-like as this room. And there's even plants growing in it. Flowers in the cave, it's gotta be this. But if this is a tendril, why would it express pain like an animal would? This is evidence of sentient plant life. So now we have a possibility that this room in the library is perhaps the surface level of a deeper hive mind rooted far underneath it. Now let's take a look at the episode titles from Season 2. Right before the season finale, you will find an episode titled The Brain. I can't be the only one who finds it funny that the brain might actually be in the library. Typically in science fiction, a hive mind is a unified consciousness or intelligence formed by a number of alien individuals, the resulting consciousness typically exerting control over its constituent members. For all we know, this hive mind might actually be the Duffer Brothers' more grounded interpretation of a Thessal Hydra. What do you think of this hive mind idea? Do you think that might also be the Thessal Hydra? And what is going on with this egg? Why do you think the Demogorgon was eating it if it's her own egg? And why is the egg so large compared to her? Do you think this hurts the possibility that this is actually her egg? Let me know in the comments below, and hit me up on Twitter at Planet Calvin. Let me know what you think. I'm really interested. Be sure to subscribe for more content like this, and thanks for watching.